All right, I was playing a local cash game, 1-2, but plays more like 5-10. Everyone buys in for 1,000 to 2,000, and I was on the cutoff. There was a button straddle, which there often is in this game, to 10. The villain is a very unsafe player, as you would say.
Yeah.
I've seen him fire 3 barrels with bottom pair, get called down all the way, lost that hand. We've seen him check raise a flop of 6-6-4 with 4 players on the flop, and then shove the 10 on the turn. He actually won that one. He had a backdoor flush. He had 10-2. So very unsafe and unpredictable. We've seen him.
And that's the guy on the straddle on the button?
The button, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And real quick, it's 1 or 2K. Is there just no cap on the buy-in in this game?
There is. So no 2,000 is the cap, and then you can buy in for 80% of the max stack when you're rebuying in.
Wow. Is this a sanctioned game, or is this a private game?
It's a private game.
Yeah.
In the closest casino. I live somewhere very far from the casino, so everyone goes to this game to play.
Okay. Wow. That's a huge. That's definitely not a real 1-2 game. That's a big game.
No. I'm not rolled for it, Grant, but I play it occasionally.
Bankroll management is kind of just this myth from 2008 that was created by the Full Tilt pros to pretend that it was a real thing. Don't worry about it. Just do whatever feels right. All right. So you're in the cutoff. What happens?
All right. So he straddles to 10, the small blind and big blind call. The under the gun 1 limps. They all limp. Under the gun 1 limps. We have Jack 10 hearts in the cutoff. Typically, obviously, I'm raising here, but with this opponent, he's going to 3-bet if I raise here, and I chose. I don't know. I struggled here, but I call. I limped also. What are your thoughts?
That's an interesting spot. So you think this guy's going to 3-bet you 80-90% of the time if you open? He's just that type of player?
Yes.
Because it is nice to isolate his range, which is going to be literally everything, and not have the other players who limped in the hand. Are any of the limpers players who are keenly aware of the situation and likely to be limping big hands in order to try to get in a 3-bet?
At least the under the gun one, yes, definitely someone who is capable of limping aces, knowing or kings or something high level there.
Yeah.
And yes, the answer is yes for sure.
Okay. My concern is it's not a disaster because Jack 10 suited plays well multi-way, but we do really want to thin the field and isolate the guy in the button if we can. That would be cool. But I think it's totally fine to limp here. Expect him to raise a lot, I guess, based on this player profile, and just hope that there's not a 3-bet. And if there's a 3-bet in front, you lost $10 and so be it, and we move on, But yeah, this is obviously how we want to play. So yeah, so you limped, and I assume he raised. Let's see.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Everyone else folds. He makes it 50. Small blind, big blind, and under the gun all call. So now it's on us. Okay. We're never 4-betting here, right? I mean, or
no. I mean, I want to, but this isn't the right hand to do it with. That's like the ace-4 suited play. Where you at least have a blocker, maybe king queen, where you have some relevant blockers to big pairs, but an ace king and ace queen. But with this hand, it just plays so well. We have the second best position at the table. My desire internally is to 4-bet, but I know it's the wrong play. So I think calling is right. So
once I limped, I really thought deeply about 4-betting there, and then I landed where you landed.
Come play with us on Clubs Poker. They have tournaments, they have ring games, and a 100% bonus if you use the code POKERGUYS or use our link in the description.
It is a lot of fun on Clubs. I have been playing on Clubs, and I have been genuinely impressed by their software. They have great games all the time, and redemptions go direct to your bank account. There's no crypto involved, none of that BS. It's a US-based company. Come play with us on Clubs. We'll see you there.
So 4 players to the flop pot's like 220 or so. Queen of hearts, 10 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds.
Okay, and we have the hearts, right?
Yes,
of hearts.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. What happens?
Check. Everyone checks to me, and I checked.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine even on this coordinated of a board, this player profile is going to fire any sort of backdoor equity, maybe even no equity hands. I'm not sure. I mean, it's definitely not a good idea to fire into that many players on this board with a no equity hand, but it sounds like this is the type of player who might do it. So it seems like we should check and see what happens. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's where I landed as well. And he makes it 65. He does bet. He bets 65. Folds to us.
Oh, all the way back. I can't see raising here. I mean, I feel like we want to keep his range wide. We want to keep him in. We want to keep him bluffing. We have backdoor equity. We have front door equity. We have a pair. We can raise to try to get it in against him going insane, but I don't feel like that's the Occam's razor best play. I feel like probably the best play is to call and see what happens again.
For sure. I don't know if I mentioned this. I have 1,500 on the effective stack.
Okay, yeah, you had mentioned the 1 or 2K buy-in, but yeah,
he has more
sense.
than us.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I did check. I did call there the 65, and the turn is a 4 of clubs, so it's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
I check. I mean, any reason to do anything else there?
No, not at all. I think we're starting to get into, we're just going to play the distribution game against this player and figure out where we are in our distribution and if the decisions get hard on the river, because I don't see us folding the turn. So it feels like a pretty obvious check call spot. And if he checks back, maybe we try to go for a little value. Maybe we try to induce with a tiny bet or something. But I'm guessing he's going to bet. That's just kind of a theory I have.
You would be correct. So he bets 350 is the pot. He bets 250.
Okay.
And we call. I mean, that's would you ever 3-bet or check raise here?
No, I would not. But I would maybe try to do kind of an exploitative type of action with the call where I take a long time and seem uncomfortable just to encourage bluffs. I want to include, like, make this player who likes to bluff feel really comfortable with the idea of bluffing. So I don't want to do the call quickly thing, the thing that looks like we're trying to discourage further betting. I want him to bluff the river. So I think I would take my time before calling.
Okay.
That's the only thing I would think.
That's interesting. I like it. So pot is 850 roughly. And the river is the 2 of clubs. So Queen of Hearts, 10 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, 4 of clubs, 2 of clubs.
Okay. I mean, checking feels like we're here. We set this up in order to check call, right? And we can talk about distribution once he bets, because I know he's going to bet.
Yeah.
And that'll be an interesting discussion. But I think we're going to land on call depending on sizing. Let's find out.
So I check. He shoves all in. So we have roughly 1,100 behind at this point.
That's okay. So now we have to think about it at least a little bit. The things that we have going for us are that we block multiple 2-pair combos. We block straights. Those are good things. We have no diamonds. That's also a good thing. I mean, I don't think we can fold against this player now that I'm we're pretty high in our distribution. We limped pre-flop. We're probably not going to have too many sets that flop to set because we're likely to have raised those, I'm guessing, unless you would have played those similar to Jack 10. But I think those are just slightly more likely raises, the obviously queens especially, 10s and 9s. So I assume we're going to have some queen jack, which is better. We're going to have some king queen, which I don't even know if it's better because the jack blocks multiple straights. And not having diamonds is also key. I feel like this is just like a hate my life call. Not being rolled for the game makes that tough.
It does.
That's why bankroll management is important, I guess. I guess they were right in 2008. I guess if you can,
it was full tilt,
you have to be able
guys.
to yeah. These bastards were right about something. All right. So what was your thought process here?
So he can have all the sets, including 2s and 4s, by the way, I think.
Sure.
So he has all the sets. He has ace queen, king queen. I'm blocking jack queen, but he has some of those. And then he has ace 10 and king 10. And I think he treats all of those. So that's what I'm losing to.
Really? You think he's going to jam king 10 on the river and ace 10?
I think at that, based on what I have seen, I mean, he fired 3 barrels with bottom pair on like a king queen 6 board. He had like ace 6.
So he's not really considering showdown value as a piece of his thought process. So He's basically putting himself in mostly game theory disaster spots when he's jamming tens and some of those queens as well. So, I mean, not really the queens, but it's very thin to jam a queen for value.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really think he's jamming king 10, the thing is, if he's jamming king 10, he's also probably got ace 5 of spades and other hands like that, you know?
Yeah. His range is wide. I mean, what do you think that? I mean, what is his value? Is it just sets that he's plays like this and straights?
I think he's definitely got straights. He's got sets. I think when you just check call the whole way on that dry board, he can go for ace queen. I think king queen is where it starts to get pretty thin.
Okay.
And some players can go for king queen, but I don't think they're going to use this sizing too frequently. But this guy, I guess this is just his sizing probably. He might not even be aware of the pot size. He might just be like, all in is my bet, whatever that is. So I'm not sure. Like, I think overpairs, sets, straights. I don't know if he has nonsense bluffs. Like, do you have a read on if he has nonsense bluffs? Just like complete nothing the whole way, no equity building.
I don't think so. I mean, I've seen him. He is capable of checking. It just happens very rarely. I do think he has some piece of this, whether it's a draw. It could easily be the diamond draw. You know, ace X of diamonds. He missed it, and he's like, I'm shoving.
Yeah.
Here.
There's missed diamonds. If he's shoving tens, is he also shoving nines? You know, because it doesn't seem like he has a concept of value versus bluff, and that
tens interesting.
I don't know.
Maybe he's not shoving tens. I don't know. That's a borderline. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's very hard to pull to put the call in here, especially when the game is deep and it's a big bet. But I think distribution demands a call. I think if we just had Jack 10 off with the Jack of diamonds in our hand instead, that might be enough to warrant a fold because we don't want to block diamonds. But we have Jack 10 of hearts. It's kind of a beautiful. I mean, there is one heart on the flop, so it's not the best Jack 10 combo. We'd rather have spades or clubs. It's still good.
Okay.
It's still good.
Okay.
I think we got to call. I think Queen Jack is like a slam dunk, definitely. I hate my life, but I call. And this is a slam dunk, definitely. Yeah, I still hate my life, but I do call. And I hope that I have more money after this hand instead of less money. That's my hope.
I think you're right. I landed on in the moment after agonizing over it so long that they were like, hurry it up. I did fold. I just and I think the bankroll management is a piece of it. If I'm rolled for that game properly, I think I do call because this is a guy that. You know, I've seen him make $10,000 in a night, and I've seen him lose $8,000 in 3 hours. And against that guy specifically, I think I'm supposed to be calling. I did fold, and for what it's worth, he said later on he had ace queen, but who knows if that's true.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Let's just believe him.
Yeah.
You know, for mental health reasons.
Tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Mr. Practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench, trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick. 12 knocking at my door, pain ain't tell. I'm studying her word, pray her